All right, guys, let's talk about specialization of labor. So, Adam Smith, a few hundred years ago, 1776, writes The Wealth of Nations. Pretty cool book, pretty big deal. And he uses the example of a factory for pins. And what you find is it's a lot better for people to make the metal longi strip bit and plonk the pin head on top than it is to get people just making a whole pin individually. Because I can just go and I can just keep chopping things into hammering or whatever it is, things into the one shape. Someone else can be molding things into one. You get very good at it, you get into a rhythm, and then people can connect it together. So, a group of even just 5 people specializing in pins in this way can produce a lot more than one person doing everything by themselves. And I think the best example is when you see workmen working together, if they're doing like landscaping or construction or whatever. I look outside at people doing this kind of thing, and they're working together. They're passing each other things. You've got one person mixing cement and another person plonking bricks or tiles together or whatever it is. I don't know what they're doing, but it looks very cool, and it looks like they're working a lot better as a result of many of them being together, being able to just do their own thing. So that's specialization, that's division of labor. Specialization can then be taken even further because you're going to get very good at the specific thing that you're doing. But these are actually two different things. So one thing is the mere divisioning of the labor, the mere breaking things up into different tasks, that likely makes people better as a group than you are individually. So that's an immediate economy of scale. The cost of doing something is going down as you're adding more scale. Immediate benefit of division of labor. Then there's an added benefit of, hey, I'm going to develop skills. I'm going to get really good at this one thing. And if I'm really good at this one thing, if I'm specialized in it, then that's cool because I'm going to be producing loads and somebody else is producing loads of this other specific task. You take us all together, we're producing more, we can exchange some of that with each other, and everyone's better off because you've got more to exchange because you're good at this very specific thing. I've got more to exchange because I'm good at this very specific thing. Everyone's a winner as long as there are enough people to do that, because obviously you still want a variety of stuff. We don't want to just live off grapes, for example. We might also want apples and bread, etc. So that's the basic introduction to a division of labor, specialization. Obviously there are advantages, but those are the main advantages. There are also disadvantages. So some people might say, hey, you're a bit more vulnerable if you divide things up this way. And maybe people get alienated from their work because they're doing their own specific thing and they're not seeing how it connects to the whole. And that applies as things get more and more complicated. Like, a lot of people today think that they're doing jobs that are providing no real value to society, when actually those jobs might be. They just don't see it. They just don't see how it all connects. Like, somebody might be a cleaner and think they're not doing anything for society, but you're actually doing a great help for the person you're cleaning for. And also, you don't see what they do in the time that they've got freed up. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe they're just lounging around and then you feel bad. But maybe not. Maybe they're then going off and they're earning more money. They're spending more time with their family or whatever. There's a large amount of value that you can be creating down the line. And the same could be true with like admin jobs. Often sometimes there's a lot of like admin that doesn't need to be done. That's pointless. But often there's a lot of admin that does need to be done. Someone needs to be doing it, and you don't necessarily see the value of it, but it could still be producing a lot of value. So there can be alienation that's misguided, but that's still alienation. So there's still a sense of, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. What's the point of this? Those are advantages of division of labor, right? If you've got people who are dependent on each other, then you could be vulnerable. There's a shock to the system. Suddenly, that group of people you don't have access to. You don't know how to do what they do. You only knew how to do your one thing. That's unfortunate. That's going to make you poorer. And maybe you could feel alienated from your work. Obviously, the counter arguments to that are, well, because division of labor and specialization makes us richer in the first place, then we can invest a lot in becoming more secure. So personally, I don't really buy the security argument thing. But I can see that it sometimes creates alienation, although sometimes people also take pride in being good at a very specific thing. So, but those are the typical kind of textbooks, advantages and disadvantages. So that's that topic.